In this video, I'm going to share with you my 6-figure blueprint on how I pin strategically into every single Pinterest account and how you can copy the same strategy for free. If you want to unpeel the layers and see how I generate 6 figures every single year with Pinterest and exactly which title, which colors, and which themes to use for your pins, then watch to the end of this video because I'm going to share all this for free. Also, I'm going to give you access to the tools I use, the strategies I use, and importantly, the things I wouldn't recommend that are probably hurting your account. Let's get into today's video. It's going to be a good one. You join me inside the Pinterest Trends tool, and I'm going to go into one of the niches that I spend more of my time right now, which is home decor. And I'm going to share with you exactly how I create my templates, how I utilize the colors, the different titles, the text, and all of the things that go into creating kind of the perfect Pinterest pin. Okay, because once you have a really good Pinterest pin, then you are able to kind of go through and have a default template for your entire account. This is what generates more clicks and more impressions because you have a really good template. Okay, I'm going to give you a free way to do it. I'm going to give you a paid way to do it, and you can pretty much choose whichever you're most comfortable with. So first off, I'm going to just go into Pinterest Trends because I think to find the perfect pin, or whatever the perfect pin actually is, but to find a really good pin template, the best thing to do is just look at your competition. So I've gone into growing trends on the left hand side here. I have clicked on home decor on the left hand side here too. Feel free to go into your niche area, but I think this is a really good example for us to use because it's trending right now and there's tons of different home decor pins that we can choose. So I'll click some of these pins now, sorry, these keywords, and I'll go into them. Just to know, if you see volume here, this isn't usually there on Pinterest Trends, okay? This is a Chrome extension that I've installed from Pinclicks. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. This makes the keyword research extremely valuable because I can scroll through these keywords and just by looking, not even clicking a button, I have an overlay of the exact volume. So then I can make some smart decisions based on whether I want to choose this particular keyword or maybe the one that's slightly below it with a lot less search volume, or maybe the one that's below that one with a lot higher search volume. This is not provided by Pinterest Trends, okay? This is the only part that's not. They don't have search volume data. So if that makes sense for you, go and click the link below and just sign up to pinclicks.com. It's all included in their default membership. And as you can see, it makes a ton of sense because I can choose very easily the highest keywords, search volumes, and I can find out the trend information too. Anyhow, let's carry on. So this is a new keyword that's trending in the home and garden space. I'm going to click on the pins at the bottom. So what I'm looking for here is just a general understanding and I guess a general template in my mind of what works well for this keyword. So when I am going through my research, I have a default template. And as you can see, it's very clear and simple. We have white in the middle. We have 4 or so collage images around the center. This one has 6. This seems to be doing quite well. So white, bright labels and titles, and then some type of collage, okay? If I go into different examples, you'll see different types of templates. But for us, if we're going to kind of emulate this particular niche, then I would recommend that we do exactly the same. So we'll go into a few more keywords so we can kind of gauge some more. This one I saw, again, is a trending keyword. So we'll look at some of the trending keywords first. So again, this one's similar. The color scheme looks a little bit more dynamic, so bear that in mind too. We have a few kind of the white templates here with collages around it. That's cool. I'll type in a more generic home decor keyword now, and let's see what comes up. Okay, so as you can see, I'm kind of loving the simple titles in the middle with 1 collage pictures, simple titles in the middle with 2, and then we have kind of simple titles in the middle with multiple collage pictures. So when I'm creating my pins now for this particular niche, and of course we can go into lots more keyword research and we can do more competition research. But the point I'm trying to make is we generally can get a theme and a sense of what works well in this particular niche area by going through our competition. As you can see, some of the images haven't loaded, but that's fine. Once we have a general understanding of what the Pinterest competition looks like, we can go ahead and make our pins to look as similar to those as possible. Now, I'm all about automation. However, sometimes you can have these automation tools and these AI tools that you use, and they're not as great as just creating it manually yourself. So the first thing I'll do is I'd recommend you pop over to Canva. You type in a niche and your Pinterest for your keyword, and then scroll through some of these to just find something that looks similar to what we saw in terms of our competition. And then we're going to potentially use some of these. So some of these are premium ones, you can see because it says pro. If you have a premium account, that's fine. Others are similar, but they're free, so technically we can use those. We'll click into this one right here. Actually, I like this one. It's collage based. It has a light and friendly title and image. And of course, we can customize this template very simply by going into it here. So if we added 4 home decor images behind, and then of course we just change the title to a slightly different color, maybe change the image here. And I quickly do this for you so you can see as well, actually. Quick pause. If you are enjoying the content and you really want to unlock the next level of success with Pinterest, then I urge you to sign up to my newsletter. I'm sharing the best tips, the most up-to-date tips, things that are working for me in 2025 in detail with step-by-steps of exactly how I am growing my Pinterest accounts across my several accounts, plus all my agency accounts. Plus, I have around 20 or so blueprints that give you the step-by-step methods of how I scale out accounts up to $10,000 with no jargon or fluff. This is exactly what I do and all the tools I use to scale up my Pinterest accounts. If you're interested, this is all 100% free, so please sign up with the link below this video. Let's carry on. Okay, so that's done. It took me about 30 seconds. Technically, I could have done it on the video, but just to save some time. So this is a very quick pin that I've created with Canva. This is on par with some of our competition. Let's take a look with this particular tab here. It looks pretty similar to this one. Let's take a look at our one. We can probably give it maybe more of a border, but in general, that kind of looks quite close to our competition. And as I mentioned, I only spent about 30 seconds doing it. So this can be very easily done using Canva, as you can see here. We can use more fonts, more designs. And here's the cool part. You can very easily just change this title to something different. And you can use the exact same template for other pins for different keywords. Okay, that's very, very important because it means once you create 1 or 2 or maybe 10 or 15 or so really good templates, you can continue to use those and just change the keywords. And many of the biggest accounts do that because they had tested maybe 20 or 30 different templates on Pinterest and they found out, okay, these 5 particular templates seem to outperform the rest. And they can tell because if you look at your analytics, you can see the top 10 of any of your last 30 days or 60 days or last 3 months of pins. You can see which one's working and which one's not. So once you've looked at your data, find the ones that are converting the highest, create more of those templates. This will 5x your impressions, and this is what I do across all my accounts. Okay, cool. So this is the free way to do it. Now I'm going to show you a paid way to do it, and I think there's pros and cons of each. But let's go into a paid account that I have that does exactly the same thing. This is a tool I've been using quite heavily now. It's called BlogToPin. It is an automation tool that pretty much shortcuts the entire process that I just created and mentioned for you. It has hundreds of pages and templates you can use at a click. It automatically creates your unique titles and descriptions, usually using AI. You can choose, or it can choose for you, the best boards once you give it the options, and it can even create the boards for you, which is kind of cool. You can import your templates from Canva, which is kind of a win-win because sometimes you're really going to want those Canva templates that you know are tried and tested. You can import those into BlogToPin, which is very, very seamless. And then of course you can utilize all the AI tools. Let's pop onto BlogToPin now and I'll show you with one of my accounts how I would recommend you set it up. This is really, really interesting because if you do this correctly, you can really set your pins and forget them for the entire month. Okay, so let's go into that and I'll explain how I do it now. So once you are inside the BlogToPin tool and software, you want to go into the playground setting, okay? There's a few small things you need to tweak when you first set up your account, but they're very simple to do and there's on-screen instructions, so do those first. Once you've synced your account, you have your domain name and you've synced your Pinterest account in terms of your campaign itself on Pinterest. Once those are done, that's pretty much the basic of it done. Now we're going to create our pins, okay? So it will automatically and seamlessly go into your sitemap. Just have to give the sitemap URL and it will go through the pages that you want. And you can of course click the ones you want and remove the ones you don't want. Once you have done that process, you are basically done for the admin part of BlogToPin. So now I have 346 pages on my domain, and I think there's maybe around 2,000 or so pages. Some I don't really want to be used on Pinterest because they're SEO posts. So these 346 are perfect. The next thing I'm going to do is pop into the AI content generation title and click listicle style, okay? You can change this to whatever you want, but I usually find listicle style works quite well. And it will give you an AI custom prompt for every single pin that you choose. Now, from now onwards, this can get a little bit complicated, and not because it's difficult to do, because if you do it wrong, it will compound over your next 30, 60 days or 90 days of pins because BlogToPin is going to create those for you. So it's super important that you do this part right, or at the very least test it, okay? So the design customization is going to be your fonts, your palettes, and your templates. If you get these right, you'll see high impressions. If you don't, you're not going to, okay? And I'm going to give you some shortcuts and tips on what I tend to use on the BlogToPin software and configuration now. So first off, I tend to go for titles that are generally quite bold, as you can see here. These are generally quite bold titles. I don't want something that's going to kind of blend into the background. And I usually choose something that's kind of bold. However, I wouldn't choose something like this because this is too bold and it looks a little bit too much. So I might go for something like this, potentially this. Let's take a look. Okay, cool. So that's selected. Now, of course, you can always change your mind and go back and change the custom fonts here. And you can also add some custom fonts, should I say, as well. This one's looking fine for me. And of course, if you want to double check it, you can just click into it to take a look at what it looks like when it's going to be big and when it's going to be clicked on when it's on Pinterest. Now, these two parts are more important for me, okay? The palette, color palette, and the template to use. Because generally, any of these fonts kind of work, but your color templates need to be super, they need to match your audience. Now, this is an example of what I wouldn't recommend. I do not recommend that you have loads of totally different colors that don't really have any complementary brand adherence. I'd recommend that you clear all these off and then just choose ones that you think will work quite well on Pinterest. And like always, guys, if there's an issue, just go to your competition research and see what they're doing. So let's take a look at some of the home decor keywords again, and I'll look at some of the colors they're using and we'll follow suit. So I'm back in Pinterest Trends. I've gone to monthly search volume here, and I will also put in my interest. Whatever your niche is, put in that particular interest. And one small thing to note is that your colors and templates and also titles will be different depending on your niche that you choose. Okay, so that's super important. So this is why I'd recommend that you pop over to Pinterest and check out their tools and also check out what's working for everyone else. So let's pop over to some of these pins now. So this one is bedroom ideas. This looks good. It's nice and wholesome in terms of its monthly views. We'll take a look at those. And also we'll look at bathroom decor, okay? Two really big Pinterest keywords. Let's take a look at some of these designs. Now this looks really clean. As you can see, very neutral, these colors. So whites, some greens and things, but whites and blacks seem to do quite well. Loving these neutral colors. It even says the word neutral in it, no pun intended. So I'm thinking neutral looks really cool here for this home decor keyword. And again, this is one of the bigger ones. So if it's like this for the big keywords, chances are all the smaller keywords will follow suit in terms of your colors and themes. Let's also check this one. This is bedroom ideas. Again, quite neutral, okay? There's lots of whites here. There's lots of light colors. So I'm thinking that in terms of the color scheme and also the title, let's go for neutral and let's go for kind of whites and blacks in terms of the font titles and text. So we'll pop back to BlogToPin now and let's click on some of these neutral ones. So we'll click on maybe this one. That looks decent. We'll click on maybe this one. Potentially one more. Now, one thing to bear in mind is I don't really want to have too many different colors, especially if I'm testing for the first month. So I may choose one type of color scheme, one or two, and then test how that looks, and then maybe change the color scheme for my month 2 and month 3. Now, one thing to note is you can randomize the pin displays here, so we can take a look at what others look like. I do like some of these. I'm not liking the blue. Let's take away the blue. That wasn't really something that I saw. And let's take a look at the randomizers again. I'm thinking that this particular one might be too dark. Well, let's go again. And you can also just very easily unclick these to disable them and click on them to enable them. Okay, so we'll do it again, randomize it. Okay, so I'm liking these neutral colors. Let's see if we can potentially add one more set of neutral colors. Okay, I'm really liking that. So we have neutral kind of browns and also neutral kind of light colors. Let's randomize these one more time. See if I like that. Okay, I think that generally looks quite good. We potentially could have one more color in there, but maybe I don't want to kind of change it up too much. Let's check how that one looks. And of course, as I mentioned, you can kind of go into these to click. Okay, so I'm liking this. I think that just in terms of the color schemes, this nice and neutral, I'm super happy with that. Cool, so we have our font done, we have our color palette done, and I think I'm happy with those. Now the most important, the most important part of the entire process is probably the templates, okay? Because if you get this wrong, you're going to be in issues, okay? So let's go through the templates now. And this is all adaptable and changeable on BlogToPin. So you can choose it, you can create your entire kind of pin collection and library, and then you can change it after it's been scheduled if need be. But I would recommend if you're going to change it, probably the best time is now. Now I'm clearing some of the current pin templates here, and I'm going to choose a few new ones, okay? Now, technically, I'd recommend less is more. That is always usually my kind of ethos when it comes to creating these type of pins. And also don't choose short titles, in my opinion, because when I have different pin titles, so for example, if I'm looking for this one, if you have a short title, it may shorten it too much. And generally, I do want to have, as much as possible, the numbers in my pin in general. And actually, this particular one doesn't have numbers in it. So we'll unclick this pin one. and we'll find one that does have numbers in it. This might do quite well. I think generally if you have the number of the listicle that you have are going to show on your blog post itself, generally people will be more inclined to click on it because they're getting more than one type of idea. So for example, this one's talking about bedroom ideas for sloped ceilings. If there's more than one idea for sloped ceilings, then someone will probably stay on your page for a little bit longer because they want to look at all those different ideas. And of course, longer session times means more money for you. So we'll click this one. I like this one here. Let's try a few more. I like this one too. It's got the title underneath it and also the image. I do want some collage ones because I remember when we done our research at the beginning, we saw some that had collages in it. So let's look for some collages here. And by all means, when you are doing this for your own account, you can go through loads of these and just click enable, take them off, see what works and what doesn't. But for this particular video, I kind of roughly know what works and what doesn't. So I'm going to choose this one here. That will be this one. Let's see, collage will be this one right here. I think that works really well. And then I think I'm going to choose one or potentially two more. Now, as I mentioned, less is more, okay? And the reason I say that is because the more templates you have here, the less of a chance that you're going to know what 100% works and what doesn't. But also you're going to get this kind of massive variety of different pins. And sometimes I find that if you can test maybe 4 or 5 for your first month, if you're using BlogToPin, it's a good number because you can see very quickly which ones will outweigh and outperform others, and then you can make smart decisions based on that. So try not to go too crazy because there's a ton of templates here. And also, just generally, in my own personal opinion, I think accounts that have wildly different pins all the time, they're all super random, doesn't really have a really good brand aesthetic. That's my personal opinion. So I think less is more. It's worked for my accounts. Feel free to choose how you like. So I think these will probably do well. I think there's 4 or 5 potentially here. One thing I do like sometimes, and maybe this is not for home decor, this works really well for fashion, is just the image by itself. Okay, strong image, super strong image. The title will be underneath it. Especially fashion, women love those type of things, so bear that in mind if you have a fashion niche. But generally, I am super happy, and by the way, I never really use text. Okay, always have an image because that draws someone's eyes. So this, I think, is ready. We'll take a look at some of these and we'll randomize it again. Super liking this. One thing, this looks pretty cool. One thing that I would recommend you do is pop back up here. Well, first off, save your settings. Make sure that that's done. That's super important. Once that's done, go to a separate page and see how it looks, okay? Because sometimes you can find that even though it looks really well on one page, maybe it just seems to work quite well because of the images that I was drawing on those pages. You should probably check if it works well on a different page that's separate because you want to make sure that it works across all of the URLs that you've chosen. And I recently had a client where we done all this research, we done all of this time, we spent all this time going through all of the different customizations, titles, pins, and all of the fonts and colors, and then it worked fantastically for one page. And then when we went to the other pages across the site, it didn't work very well because that particular page had a specific keyword that seemed to draw the eyeball to those images and those texts. So the point is, do some more testing, select a different page, and you should be good to go. And I think this worked quite well with other pages too. So this, I think, is this is ready. It's good. It looks professional. We can always tweak it, but I think for what we have been offered in BlogToPin, this is fantastic. So that's been saved. Now the next step is to schedule these pins out, and I'll show you that very quickly. Now there's 2 ways to schedule your pins out. You can go through the settings way here and choose your daily pins, press submit, and then follow the on-screen instructions. Or you can potentially do it from the calendar tab. Now, I do like the calendar tab. The only difference is, well, actually we have to go to the approve tab. The only difference is if you've generated old images and pins from before, you may have to cancel all these off and then you can generate new ones. So you can just kind of click X on these ones because these ones are the ones that we don't really want. These are the ones that I don't recommend. You can see the colors don't really work quite well based on our research. So I'd recommend you cancel all these off. Once these are all cancelled off, then you can resubmit with the new settings and the new pin collages that we have. And then once that's done, pop into a calendar here, and then you'll see all those live new pins and pin titles and pin images, and they'll be ready to go on Pinterest. And you can see exactly how many per day that you've set up. Okay, that's going to be in the settings tab. If you have any questions, feel free to add that into the comments section below. But in general, I would recommend BlogToPin for this exact reason, because we can schedule out literally as many pins as we want, just using the playground settings and selecting the right pages, and then it goes ahead and schedules all those pins for us on Pinterest and does it seamlessly. Okay. One super important thing to note as well is that if you do connect your account with BlogToPin, you're going to get analytics information here as well. Okay, so it's all really seamlessly integrated, and I'd 1000% recommend it. Now, one last thing I do want to draw your attention to is you can create AI pins using BlogToPin here. It's very, very simple to use. We're going to click one of the URLs that we just used. So let's go for we'll go for pastel bedroom color ideas. So we'll put in pastel bedroom ideas, and we'll put in 15 because we want that. We can select the type here, and we can select the number of pins, and we can hit generate. Okay, so that took around 30 seconds or so. It works really, really seamlessly, if I'm being super honest. You have credits that you can use here. I changed the startup so you can see which one works, and you can just kind of test different ones. And this is all integrated and included in your BlogToPin subscription. So definitely check it out, and also utilize this tool because, again, you are trying to test different AI pins and also collage pins and also ones you potentially create by yourself. So between the three, you'll find a winner. This is what I do across my accounts. This is how I generate significant traffic every single month and really, really good revenue that's dependable. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've kind of gone into detail with the exact strategies that I use to generate hundreds of thousands of clicks on a month-to-month basis across my entire portfolio of my accounts, and also the strategies I use for my client accounts and also my agency accounts. If you want to take your Pinterest strategy to the next level and you just want to have someone that is an expert at Pinterest to go into your account and provide all the information and the updates and the coaching that you need, feel free to check out my coaching package. I will leave a link below this video. It's private, it's one-on-one, and it allows me to give you tailor-made advice that's super unique to your niche. And just generally, if you're starting out from scratch and you need someone to give you the guidance and fast track your time and increase the chances of success on Pinterest, this is 100% for you. Plus, it's super affordable. So I'll leave a link below in the video. And lastly, if you've stayed to the end of this video, feel free to sign up to my free 100% free newsletter, where I'm sharing different strategies I'm using. I'm giving you information on all the AI prompts and scripts that I'm using. I'm giving you the softwares and the tools that I'm using, some for free, some that are slightly paid, but I'd recommend. And in general, I'm giving you pretty much peeling back the layers of all of my strategies across Pinterest on how I'm generating hundreds of thousands of clicks for free. So if that makes sense and you want to take your accounts to the next level, sign up to this newsletter and you'll get all of my newsletters pretty much once a week. And I'm continually updating my strategy. So if that makes sense for you, feel free to sign up here. Again, it's 100% free. Anyhow, that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to add them in the comment box below. And of course, 100% subscribe to the channel. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.